Hello and welcome to the 20th BOH Cameronian Arts Award on set. My name is Foo Chi Wei and I would like to introduce the nominees for the Best Music and Sound Design in Theatre category. Today we have Ken Lee from the B and Syamsul Azhar from Motorman 2 Monologues. Welcome on set everyone. Let's begin. How did you get into music and sound design? What about the B that made you agree to be part of the team?
I think because of the script itself, it's from a Japanese writer, and the story is kind of crazy for me. So when I read the script, like, okay, let's do it.
Oh, so you've been interested in the script itself first?
Yeah, but also because I've been worked with Gokman a few times, so I kind of like to work with him, the way how he treat a script and how he direct the actor.
So he actually let you read the script first, and then you think about it.
I think maybe he tell me the general story about it first, and then like, okay, it sounds really crazy. So
you were intrigued.
Yeah.
Okay. And for you, about Motorman?
Yeah. For me, it's actually my sifu is Pui Tin herself, who wrote Motorman, and she was also performing in it. And she kind of trusts me into being the technical designer for the show. But sound design, like, kind of actually, I just stumbled upon it. I guess she just put full trust on me to look at all the designs, and sound was the major thing in the show. Yes.
I actually, because I was so immersed into the text that they were sharing, I actually didn't quite listen to the sound at all. The only thing that really piqued my idea was that how they were ringing the bells. Is that part of your design as well, your work as well? Why do you decide to have those chimes and wind chimes and bell going on? What was that?
So in the process, I understood, like, we want to take sound on a different level for this show. And well, I'm like more of a visual designer, but I kind of like try to figure out and play with sound in many different ways. So in our rehearsal process, it's very long. So while in this process, we found some old instruments to try out, and it kind of works. I mean, especially when we are talking about culture and tradition, and the instruments that we had were kind of like has that touch to it, and we had to figure out, like, what's the best way to like play with it.
So you actually have background sound that you're creating, and they themselves playing with the wind chime to create sound that relate to the whole dialogue as well.
Yes.
Oh, that's very, very interesting. You use silence as a tool just as much as sound. How did you determine when silence would be more impactful and as an audio cue?
I think it depends the whole play. During that which part you want to like remain silent. Sometimes silent also a note, right? You can see the sign. And also I think when the whole performance is going on, there actually is no silence. Everything is a sound. Everything is happening. Even though the actor, the script, or the movement, or the expression. So for me, it's just like you just silent down the sound, but doesn't mean the whole thing is silent.
Yeah, like we don't really necessarily need background noises all the time when we talk.
No,
because
you need to give more space to let things happen. I think it's always we always talking about this I think this is the choice that how you giving space when during the part of the play itself.
Yeah, that I understand, especially for lines when you actually wanted the audience to get the script as well, and some of the words that they use can be quite deliberate, and you wanted that to be more clear.
You see, it's very interesting that sometimes the part when you totally silence with the music, and then you seeing the people expression, you can feel a lot of the tension.
Yeah.
Or sometimes it's really funny when it's totally silent.
Yeah. I think that the audience felt that because sometimes the action itself, it is somehow it's the silence actually froze the times, and you pinpoint, and everybody seemed to stood up and look at it and
Yeah.
pause.
And sometimes we think silent, but we might incorporate the air conditioner sound as well.
The sound of the studio itself.
Yeah.
Well, that's interesting as well. Well, for you, can you elaborate the unconventional sounds or technique that you use in this production? Like the unconventional for me is a wind chime, you know. And
because in conjunction with chances, right, playing with that, we had fans in the space blowing, and we had wind chimes and angklung, and they like kind of create this chants sound,
especially
in the
with
space.
the wind
blowing.
Yeah.
So I think that was like kind of interesting. That goes and fits with the style of the story that's being played with, and also like, well, it's not conventional in a sense where plays go cue to cue with sounds. They were tinkabing. So so I have to base like each design on each card, and when a card appears, actually all of us are on like, I guess are like on high alert to know what that card is, including performers and including people from the backstage, to know who goes first or who goes next. Yeah, it's either the performers go. Is it live sound? Is it a digital sound? Or is it enhanced sound? Yeah.
So for you are playing live sound.
Yes.
It's not pre-recorded.
It's pre-recorded, but in a way that I need to trigger it according to the card that
It's
appears.
still live then,
Yes.
anyway, in that case. Oh, wow, that's amazing. I didn't
Yes.
realize that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's quite hard. Like you say, you need to be alert. You need to know what's going on.
Yeah, I think both performers and the people backstage as well.
Wow, that's changed the perspective for me. You know, that I thought it was quite well rehearsed, but it was spontaneous at the same time. That's interesting. I remember that you did do music for another play of Kokman, but you were playing music.
It's more music.
More got to do with emotional sounding and rather than sound
This time really sound more like
sound effect. Yeah,
then I found out sound effect actually is quite difficult to do it.
Yeah,
sometimes.
sound cue is not easy.
You can't really like use too much sample. Sometimes we use the sample, you know, to recreate, but sometimes you need the sample and add on the Foley sound to record again, and to overlapping also sometimes. Yeah, and especially the gun sound is really headache. You know, the gun sound like overlap like five or six type of gun sound together.
Yeah, and I remember one time, because a few times they have to play the gun sound, but one time it went off a bit earlier.
Yeah. It's not a problem.
But you know, you also know how to play instruments, so like that's like an up for you also.
Yeah,
and like for me, it's like always effects.
But the interesting thing is, if you use a visual artist mindset to create the music, right? I think it's always come out something that I cannot expect. You know, it's really it's really like a lot of surprise come out.
Yeah, that's why I say, because when you were playing with your visual, you do have a lot of sound. Like for example, Marian pieces, it's a lot of visual, but there was sound in the visual. Yeah. So for me, I'm interested also to know, like when your experience of creating, it is your first time, right? Do you think that it is considered a sound effect or it is considered a soundscape?
For me, both. It's
I think soundscape also, it could be a soundscape also.
Yeah,
soundscape to me also, it can create a certain atmosphere and emotional ties to the whole production.
Not necessary to be loud or very outstanding, but this provides a lot of good essence for the part if you want to tell the story.
Especially the chimes.
Yeah,
and then there's a point where we switch off the fans, and it becomes that silent. And you're just hearing aircon and yourself.
The fans become a player also.
That's why I'm curious. Sometimes the chime was very clear, but sometimes it wasn't. But the clear one, was it recorded?
Yes, I do enhance.
Right.
I do enhance it.
Sometimes we need that also.
Yeah, that's why I thought I didn't hear any soundtrack that you play. I hear only chime, you know. But I really enjoyed the chime. What have evolved or changed in the production from 2022 rendition of Motorman to Monologues compared to before?
So before, I think there was less on sound design, but a lot of live sound design. So the performers were making like the sound itself. But I think that focus was what we see, how we see it with the sound physically on stage. So that kind of carried forward. But this digital sound play, we needed to tell the location and the time. I think that was like really important for this kind of that kind of particular script, because we kind of follow like a real director, and a lot of his choices of music back then was very big band American influence.
Swing
Yeah,
music.
swing music. Yeah. So yeah, I wanted to introduce that into the show as well. So.
Okay. When you say technical sound, what do you mean by that? Like,
So the technical sound is like the performers are actually for me, it's like the performers are actually performing the sound. Performers are mic'd up. It's because it's a reading in some sense. We want the text to come through, but we want to manipulate that with something. And one way we did it, we played with fans. So Puetin like goes really close to the fan and starts making really weird sounds. I think that's the one thing about sound, it's just really fun. It's just making weird sounds.
actually, I giggle. I giggle when she did that because I remember, I don't know, in your childhood, you guys did it.
Yeah,
I with the fan go,
definitely.
yeah. I really enjoyed it. So when she did that, I was giggling away. Yeah.
That's an inspiration come from life, you know.
That is true. What was the most technical challenging for you then in the B? Yeah, because the B is also, the staging wasn't very conventional.
Yep.
And I actually thought that you will be there in the background playing the music or create the sound. But you told me later on it was all pre-recorded.
Yeah, pre-recorded
wasn't it?
or pre-produced.
Yeah.
So I think sometimes when you only know what's going on when you pump in, then you need to remix all the sound. Even like just the gunshot, we already have like more than 10 versions. Just a gunshot sound. So you need to figure out what is the best sound, and when the guns go different location, how it's happened. Even though at the backstage we have there's a for the play there's a window, and there's a gunshot like pointing out the window. So then like we're trying to play the spatial design a little bit also. Then we specify put one speaker like behind. So there's this kind of all little setup. I think it's more challenge for me this time.
I thought it can be quite challenging as well for the player, no? Their timing need to be impeccable. Like they need to be actually precise and
they have to precise, but also the people who operate also need to like on time. Yeah, but not me to operating. So okay, I'm just focused on the sound
creating
design.
the sound.
And do the music.
Okay. What are some of the key lessons you learned, both professionally and personally, through your work on the Bees or the Mortar Man?
At least I think sound release. This was my first time to really focus on sound.
Yes, because you usually are a visual person. Yeah.
So I'm a lighting designer and a multimedia designer, and like sound is like a kind of new thing. And
actually, not. Your multimedia also has sound.
But never really focused into it. But
Yeah.
this needed more attention, sound in this realm. In visual sense, it's very hard to represent a rhythm that especially vibrates your body. And I think sound has that element, and that really opens up a new feeling of vocabulary in me as a designer to have that understanding of feeling.
Especially with different actors, the way they deliver their lines, the way they tell the story, it's all different rhythm as well. So you need to pay attention to that.
Yes.
Wow, that's cool that you actually learned quite a fair bit from that then. Yeah. So what will you progress from there then? From now?
I don't know. I don't know. I'll play more. Definitely play more.
That's cool.
I think a lot of playing still needs to be done, and a lot more discovering needs to be done. But that was one of the most powerful thing that I think made me realize what sound can do in on stage.
Yeah. Well, we are in the play industry anyway. We're all playing. Performing arts is all about playing. So yeah, that's good. And for you,
I think actually this is the first like fully a theater sound design fully do by me. Yeah, I think this is the first time. Yeah.
Oh.
Usually I previously I do more project is on contemporary dance. It's more on acting. Yeah, more on acting. Yes, should say, because before that the Taiwanese Japanese artist collaboration also kind of a lot of movement and music and sound, but this a lot of sound, really sound design. You know, like in terms of object.
Oh, like soundscape.
Soundscape.
Yeah, yes.
So
Sound effect.
Sound effect. Yeah, so a bit tricky for me, and kind of challenge also. You need to like consider a lot of the spatial design also for me. Place itself, the studio itself, you have limitation on the speaker placing. So how you wanna play with the mix? I think this is one of the things I try to figure out and learn. I think the interesting thing is this piece, although it looks very a lot of humor, like black humor, but at the same time it's kind of
It's quite dark.
Dark. So I did create some of the horror movie vibe kind of a soundtrack ish. If you remember there's a recreate the Flight of Bumblebee.
Yes,
There's the recreate version.
Yes.
It's a horror version.
I see.
So I tried to make it like, you know, I kind of like it because my dream is to do a film scoring on a horror movie actually.
Actually, at one time, I actually thought you're gonna have like the Hitchcock behind the shower curtain type. Ting, 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 ting.
That's classic.
But with the bee sound, almost similar to that. That's what I thought. Yeah.
It's kind of annoying sometimes. You know?
Well, it does get into the mood of the whole play. Yeah, I think the annoying part is good.
Yeah, I feel annoying too sometimes when I listen back to your own sound. Oh, then like I dream of bee.
Then that is effective, no? Because it does relate to the whole play in that way.
It's not too healthy to your mental state, but okay.
Well, that's all for this session. Thank you so much for being here with me and sharing your thoughts. Thank you, Kenley and Syamsul. Congratulations again on your nomination. Thank you all for watching and see you again next time.